by going to a town that's not in your guidebook. I've had some great adventures just by going to a town that might not be used to travelers and hence might be open to travelers some more. And in a way, this sort of ties into number 9, which is there is no such thing as a mistake. And talking about going to the wrong place, when I was traveling around the world with no luggage 9 years ago, I thought I was going to a place called Tetuan, Morocco, or Chefchaouen, Morocco. The taxi driver took me to Tetuan, Morocco, and it was a great mistake. It was such a great mistake. I spent the whole day there, and it was in a way better than what I later found at Chefchaouen. And I'm sure you have a lot more specific examples of this, but what do you mean in your case by there's no such thing as a mistake?
If travel is about learning about yourself and the world, you can't really screw it up, right? I mean, you end up in the wrong city that turns out to be a great experience. You get scammed, and then you learn a lesson. There's nothing like wrong. Everything is just a way to learn about yourself and the world a little more. And I think people worry that, oh, they have to be this perfect traveler that, you can't screw up. But every traveler screws up. I mean, I still screw up. I'm sure you still make mistakes. You just talked about one. And so I think that travel gives you permission to make mistakes a little bit more forgivingly than maybe life back at home does. And to just not worry about it. Just learn and move on.
Absolutely. And I might add that even if you don't feel like you have permission, who's going to see you, right? You screw up and on the other side of the world, and nobody's keeping score. So that's great. Number 10 is don't be cheap.
Yeah, I think as travelers, especially budget, backpacker, long-term traveler, we don't want to spend a lot of money because we want to make our money last. We have an infinite amount of time and a finite amount of money. But that being said, I'm all for saving money. Wait, did you really fly halfway around the world to not do anything? Did you live like a pauper while you saved this, piggy bank of travel funds to not, do the bungee jump you've always dreamed of, to not dive the Great Barrier Reef, to not eat pasta in Italy, instead like cooking your hostel? Splurge once in a while and have these experiences that you're probably never going to have again, and that can really be some of the best you have when you travel. That can be defining moments. And I think long-term travelers, especially, they tend to be too cheap. It's okay to spend some money. It's not a badge of honor to leave a country spending only $15 a day, but have never seen anything.
Yeah, I think sometimes this can be a competitive thing, that super budget travelers who might be sharing hostels or buses sometimes look down their nose at someone who might spend more money than seems appropriate on a situation. But that can be a really negative kind of competitiveness, because sometimes we instead of thinking in cheapness, we should really think of value. What is the value of eating that pasta meal in Italy? Well, it's going to be terrific. What's the value of doing that canyon swing or bungee jump in New Zealand? It's probably going to be fantastic and memorable and worth doing. Number 11 says, that being said, don't be wasteful. And so what do you mean by that? How do we strike this balance between not being too cheap yet not being wasteful?
I think it's important to be frugal, right? Think of value. What are the things you're going to remember, right? What are the things you really, really want to do and that can't be done somewhere else? Do that stuff, but don't always, go out on a pub crawl every night. Go have a nice meal. Go Uber because it's easy. It's really easy to spend money when you travel. You don't have to work. You don't have anything else to do today. You can just get up and go do stuff. Well, doing stuff does cost some money. There's a lot of free things to do, of course, but food is expensive. If you're going to see a museum every day, that's going to add up. Tours are going to add up. So, pick and choose your battles. Find the things that are going to be the most memorable and have the best value for what you want, and do those things, and then, you know, save all the money for the other stuff.